Hello YouTube! Time for the Heihachi lab. So very first Mishima lab was Kazuya, now it's time for Heihachi. I can't believe I labbed my boy Kazuya before anyone else. I'm a traitor. Speed lab of Kaz. Okay. So about Heihachi. Heihachi, basically he has the same kind of game plan as with Kazuya when it comes to electrics, and it's exactly the same with Devilgen. If someone has electrics, basically, you have to be very careful when approaching them, right? And that comes with all electric based characters, or if they have something similar to electric as well. Like Bob CD1 for example, that's also something you can do that. So when it comes to approaching them, an electric keep out is pretty strong. Not to mention if they do mess up, they have a safe down forward too. Unlike us. That's like the big difference when it comes to Heihachi and Devilgen. Even if they mess it up and you go in and you do something like this, maybe, I don't know. High crush and still get it, or something like this, or this, to avoid an electric. If they mess up, they still have a safe mid that will counter launch you, right? Into good damage. I don't remember the damage after that for high damage. The combo after that for high damage, but yeah. So you have to be very careful when it comes to that. If you want to bait it out, you have to be ready for them. And when I talked about the Kazuya speed lab at first, whenever someone whiffs an electric, or you block it, something like this, be ready for another one. It's the same with any kind of electrics, Devilgens, even Jins. Mishima players mostly like doing 2 consecutive electrics, so be ready for them. Alright, let me try to demonstrate it. My Heihachi electrics. Like that. I was not recording, goddammit. I suck. No! If I don't warm up, my normal electrics suck balls. I mean balls. Look at that. I'm messing up. Let me do this quickly. I can do this on P1 way easier, so... Okay. So something like this. Right? You block one and expect another one. And do not dash in. A lot of people like dashing in, and they say, oh, I'm dash blocking, right? But dash blocking here is really not worth it. I talked about this in the Kazuya speed lab as well. Do not dash in, because it accomplishes literally nothing. Best thing you can do is either sidestep to the weak side, which is left. Maybe backdash, but then you'll miss out on a whip punish unless you do something long range. Or sidestep the other way, which is a little bit riskier. Just expect the second one and punish it. Shit. Right? When you expect something, it's way easier to punish something as well. Just be careful about it. Very hard. Because, electrics have pretty good whip recovery. Okay. What else to talk about? Electrics are like the big thing, of course. Because Mishimas usually aren't that good when it comes to dealing with pressure, so electrics are that like keep away tool. But I think Heihachi is one of the characters that have like good panic tools. Unlike the other two. I mean, Devilgen also has up 4. But Heihachi has something like this, for example, that literally will go below some mids. Maybe not that one. I think those mids actually work well there. Let me try to do a setup. Maybe this. There we go. There we go. In that situation it didn't work. Yeah, there we go. It's a pure high crush and goes over some mids as well. And it has setups, like the ones I did, like jab into this. That doesn't avoid as many mids, but down forward 1-1 to this will avoid a little bit more. Just Just this move existing, you know, it's pretty harsh. Especially when you're playing Kazuya, you do forward 4. They might do that. Actually, not forward 4, down back 4. Forward 4 forces crouch. When you do down back 4, they might do that. I don't see a lot of Heihachi players using it, but be careful when it comes to that. The other panic move is the full crouch panic move, which is this. You'll see this used a lot. I mean, a lot. The two most common ways this is used is either after someone forces crouch, like forward 4. Not on hit, on block. This forces crouch on block. Like that. And they will spam it immediately, or after wake up. When they tech roll after a wall combo, they might do it instantly. The two ways, basically. So one, I'm trying to demonstrate it. Hold back, mash 2. Right? Like that. It avoids a lot of stuff. Of course you can check it with something like down forward 4. I think back 2. Oh, back 2 does not work. But yeah, it avoids a lot of stuff. Right? So be very careful when it comes to that. I think it will even avoid an electric. Yeah, it will. So this is a very common option and very good option for Heihachi players, so you have to be ready for it. Something you can do, of course, is you can make it whiff with a backdash, but I would not recommend stepping, because sometimes that's very weird tracking. So with the backdash, this will whiff very easily, right? If you just backdash once, very easy whiff into a punish. But if you try to step, if you're too close, it will still track. Especially if you step to the right, like that, right? And it will even track if you're stepping to the left. You see that? So a backdash is like the best thing to make this whiff. And of course you don't really want to block it because it is safe. -6. And this is also very common. When this gets blocked, it's 1-1-2. Right? It's Heihachi. Expect 1-1-2 literally after everything. Or if this gets blocked, some Heihachi players might even do a parry. This one. They might. I don't see it that much, but they might do it. So be careful about that. And the other situation I talked about is after a wall combo. Yeah, how do I demonstrate that? Right, go to the wall. Okay, let's see if this will work. Let's make this guy mash 2 all the time. Like this. Get a wall combo. That's not a wall combo. Tech roll while standing 2. Something like this, right? But imagine them... You gotta imagine them tech rolling the other way and then while standing 2. So let's switch sides. This is hard to demonstrate, man. These kind of things are very intricate. So this, sidestep left. Dude, where was the sidestep? I mean, tech roll. AI is trolling me. So basically they are tech rolling to the left and then doing while standing 2. It's very hard to demonstrate. I really tried. The one thing I demonstrated was tech roll right into while standing 2. But what they do is tech roll left and then while standing 2 for maximum evasion. What that does is it makes a lot of Kazuya's options whiff. Like it will make hell sweep whiff, for example, if you do it instantly. It will make upward 3 whiff, down forward 1. Down forward 4 I think will track it sometimes, but you won't really use it after a wall combo. And back 2 will whiff as well, most likely. So you have to be very careful in that situation. If you use wall standing 3 as an option, of course you will beat it. You'll get a wall splat. It's a pretty good option against it. Or you can just do a very instant electric or a very fast hell sweep after a tech roll. So they don't even have the time to input the wall standing 2. I've tried down back 2. And sometimes it works, it sometimes doesn't, depending on your speed, so it's a little bit unreliable whenever they do this. So be careful when it comes to that. Can't believe I couldn't recreate it. Oh yeah, it's fine. Like they're tech rolling left and then while staying 2. Right? Let's do it like this. Let's do it like that. I do want to show you guys how it looks. Because I think it's important to know. Wait. Repeat action is fine. Switch to the wall. Basically a wall splat. Doesn't matter. Fuck. So this and this. This is how it looks. If you're on the right side, they will go tech roll left by pressing 3 and then while standing 2. So it has double the sidestep. Basically, that's how it looks. And the way to beat it are the options I listed as Kazuya. While standing 3 being the easiest one, while the other one is timing based if you do things just fast enough. I just had to do it myself, I could not let the AI do it. It's a little bit weird to make the AI do that. Jack, hello. Hello, Jack. Mr. Jack. Yeah, that's important to know, the while standing 2 and how to beat it. You can make it whiff, of course, after a while if you just stay patient. But you're also, you know, staying patient and letting them getting away from the wall, so... Pick or choose, I guess. Pick and choose. Pick or choose. Okay. Now let's talk about Heihachi's pressure tools in general. We talked about the electric, of course. Very strong. Well, let's talk about his jab, forward 4, down forward 1, and you know the annoying parts. And down forward. Very good Heihachi players will use down forward as well. Oh, I almost forgot. The third most common ways Heihachi players use while standing 2 is after down forward. This right here, this setup. This is also very common. Like this will track both ways. See this? You can through the sidestep it. And you already know it's safe, so you don't really want to block it. And the way to beat it is just like in the previous setup, just backdash. Just like this. Backdash once. If you backdash twice, you don't have enough frames anymore to whip punish it. It will be harder, basically. Just backdash once, be ready for it, and punish it. I think it's backdashing once in Tekken is very underrated. Because everyone tries to Korean backdash instantly. They get hit by a thing and they're like, Korean backdash immediately, right? A lot of people do that. But one backdash is actually very strong. Okay. Yeah, now let's get back to our topic. The forwards 4, jabs, down forward 1. First, let's talk about forward 4. So this move. Minus 4. You are minus. You are crouching. So you can have the wall standing 4. And it's countered. Wait. Countered knockdown into big damage, like 48 damage. That's pretty good damage. But the problem here is its properties on hit. Not on hit. On block and on crouch. So on crouch, if you are crouching, you are minus 13, and Heihachi gets a guaranteed down 4 to 1 2. So this automatically means, you know, you don't really want to duck against the character. Which is true. Duck against Heihachi is a pretty bad idea in general. But the other thing is you don't actually want to move against Heihachi as well. Because of this very simple trap. This is the 1-1. This tracks. You see that? I cannot sidestep to the left. You cannot do it. This has basically tracking. You try to sidestep, this will hit you. And of course, hit confirm 1, wall splat, a lot of damage. So you don't even want to move. But this is also very important, that this only happens when you are P1 and Heihachi is P2. If the sides are switched, like this, he does the same thing, forward 4, 1, 1. You can actually sidestep this to the right. Heihachi jab weak side is to the right and not to the left. But sometimes it might still track you. You have to be very careful when it comes to it, right? When it becomes +5, wait, like this, it's a little bit more consistent. Or when you're too close. But sometimes it's steppable. For Kazuya it's a little bit harder, other characters can do it a little bit easier, but I would not recommend it. But I demonstrate that it's possible. Like that. Like, it's very consistent if you do a sidestep. Sidewalk doesn't work as much. Okay. But on left side, you don't do that. You just don't do it at all. Do this into 1-1. If I try the same thing, that just doesn't work. Because I can't step to the right. I have to go to the left. Unless I'm playing on hitbox, I guess. Down forward 1. When it comes to down forward 1, you can actually step this just like that. But it becomes a kind of a mini mix-up, which is a step kind of mix-up, where 1-1 hits you, but down forward 1 doesn't hit you, right? So you're kind of forced to hold back. You don't want to duck, of course, because if you duck, you might get hit by the mid into 1,000,000 damage. You don't want to step because of 1-1, right? And you're just kind of forced to hold back. Down forward 1-1 tracks? Yes, down forward 1-1, the second one does track. That second one tracks. So if you do sidestep it, you have to make sure to punish it quickly. Right? Do a quick punish. I don't think an electric is quick enough. Yeah, it's not. Something like 1-1-2 maybe. Because the 1 does track. But as I said, it's not worth stepping it at the wall anyway because of the 1-1-2 wall splat. It's way too strong. Messed up. So you're kind of forced to just stay there. And just block and without ducking. So that's about down forward 1, jab, and forward 4. And if they want to do a mid, not a mid, a low, to, you know, make you duck, the very good Heihachi players will do a hell sweep. Very, very good ones. I don't see enough players do this. I hope I don't give Heihachi players ideas, I'm gonna be honest, because only a few Heihachi players do this. They will do a hell sweep, only 1 hit, to make you duck. The others might do a down back 2, might do a down 4, might do a down back 3, stuff like this, right? Or might try throwing you. But the best thing to do, and good Heihachi players do this, is a single hit hell sweep. This makes you duck and actually makes you in a kind of a mix. It's very strong. So first, let's talk about the other lows, like down back 2. Sometimes this will hit you, but it is reactable, 23 frames. You should be able to react to it most of the time. I'm not saying all the time, sometimes it will hit you, we're all human. But most of the time, you should be able to react to this. There's a sound cue, -18, you launch it. If you get hit by a down 4, the Heihachi player kind of loses their turn most of the time. And you can get out of the wall with a sidestep. But as I mentioned before, be careful of this floor chart. If they do a down 4, they might do this floor chart. Be careful of that. And the last one is down back 3, which also loses their turn because it's -3. And it's also launch punishable, so it's not really good for the Heihachi player to do. But let's talk about the dangerous low. The actual low you have to look out for. Single hit hell sweep. Of course they can also do this, right? Double low, or the hell sweep mid. The way you deal with the double low is you have to try to look for the animation and duck it. And also block the mid. It is possible. It's hard to do, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's possible. But most of the time it's worth it to duck the low because it's a launcher. And it is -10, right? Big jab punch. But yeah, now let's talk about the single hit hell sweep. So single hit hell sweep is -8 and forces crouch. This is one of the latest changes for Heihachi. Because, you know, his lows are not that good. And before this, I think Heihachi wasn't that good. Just because of the lack of lows and the hell sweep not being, you know, that good. But now that this exists, the game is kind of changed. So what does this do? One, this is a tracking hell sweep. You guys remember when they buffed hell sweeps, like Kazuya's hell sweep, Delgin's hell sweep, and Heihachi's hell sweep as well? And they were tracking, not tracking, but they had increased tracking, like really good tracking. They nerfed Kazuya's and Delgin's, but they kept Heihachi's. So this hell sweep actually tracks really well. You guys see that? Very good tracking. Basically a tracking hell sweep. So you can't really step it. Which is dumb, you know. I never saw anyone complain about this move because I guess not a lot of Heihachi players do use it. Unlike Kazuya players spamming health sweeps. Right? But it's very strong. Now let's talk about the frames. Of course, if you block it, it's launch, right? Stagger, minus 23. But now let's talk about on hit. Big problem. Imagine, thank you for a follow. Thank you, man. So on hit, you are minus 8, you are forced crouch, you can only step one direction. If you're P1, it's left, if you're P2, it's right. And if you're P2, it's a much worse situation for you, because sidestep right normally you don't really want that. So let's see the most common options Heihachi players do. There are 3 very common options. 4-3 being the most common, very common. Back 4 being another one. Forward 4 being usually an option. At the wall. And let's talk about a little bit less common one, which some Heihachi players do use, although I only see HK do it. Even though it's super good, I think it's one of the best options Heihachi has. It's 4-2. 4-2-3. Amazing option after Hell Sweep. So 15 frames, you can't rage art this. Tracking, you can sidestep this. You can duck it, of course. Right? 4-2-3, you can do something like this if you have a hard read. Duck it and launch it. But if you mess up your duck and launch, you get the counter because there's a mid coming up. That's a very good option. Very good option. And as I said, it does track. Let me try to step it and I'll show you. I just tried stepping it. Good luck stepping that. Of course, it gives guaranteed 4-4-2 as well. Omen combo recommendations? Not really. I don't play Heihachi that much. Even when I do, I don't really use Omen combos. But yeah, 4-2-3, very strong option. Be very careful about it. And there's not a lot of ways to beat that. Really not. Only a hard read with a duck beats it, but you don't want to duck Heihachi, as I already talked about. Now let's talk about the other options. So back 4 being one of them. You can actually step block this a little bit because it's being a little bit slow, but step really is non-existing because you don't have the frames for it, right? So better just keep blocking, or maybe backdash once. Backdashing is always good. Because you not only block, you also cover distance. Backdashing is great. If you press, of course you get countered. Sidestep press, you get countered. Countered launcher. Since this is mid, this is a frame trap, and it's tracking, and it's safe, you can't really do much about it, unless you rage art. So the only 2 things you can do about this is a rage art or a full crouch power crush. If your character has it. Kazuya doesn't have it, but he can rage art, for example. But, you know, rage arts are scary. You don't want to rage art. But it is an option that you have. The other thing they like to do, which is the most common one, is 4-3. This saves the same purpose as back 4, more or less. But it's bare frames, and that's why they use this. Right? It's the same kind of frame trap, but it's not minus 8, it's minus 2. Which is a situation Heihachi player actually wants you. Where did I get all this string data? It's just experience. Literal experience. Playing a lot. Laughing a lot. That's what it is. Yeah, but the one weakness this has that I don't see a lot of people doing is stepping it. This is actually steppable in most situations. Sometimes it can track you, but if you sidewalk it, it's more or less consistent. If you step it, it can hit you like this. If you just press up, for example, it can hit you. But if you sidewalk it, it's actually walkable. So if you catch a Heihachi player loving 4-3 after a health sweep, you can sidewalk it and punish it. Launch it, of course. But then comes the other options which are a problem, like forward 2 tracking and back 4 tracking. But at least you won't let them get away with forward 3. Don't let them get away with that. So that's very important to know. Okay, what else? Oh, at the wall forward 4. So this kind of mix-up, right, is cancer. It's actual cancer. And this is very strong. It's a high-risk mix-up for Heihachi. If you don't count forward 4, of course, there's no risk to forward 4. So you have to be very careful when it comes to that. Can you step forward 3 at both directions? If I remember correctly, yes. So let's check it. That's a good question. Let me try it. Oh, you cannot. It tracks to the right. If you're P2, good luck. That was a good question, I didn't remember this. I guess at like long ranges you can, but short ranges you cannot. So if you're P1 you can step it easier, not easier, you can't step it. P2, not steppable. Maybe some characters can, Kazuya cannot. Because it forces crouch, you can only step one side. Okay, now let's talk about the forward 4. Forward 4 usually won't be used in the neutral like this, right? Hell sweep in the forward 4. Because simple backdash will make it whiff most of the time. Like that. And you can like punish it. Well, I just messed up my backdash. Like most of the time it won't be used. Sometimes it can be used. But most of the time you'll see it is at the wall. Something like this into forward 4. Because this enforces a mix-up. They can do this, into another this, into another this, you know. And a lot of Heihachi players really love to do this, and I'm one of them. And I like to do it because it's so oppressive, it's so annoying, and it's so damn good to do. It's high risk, of course. If they block this, you're gonna get launched. But god damn, it's oppressive and it's very, very hard to deal with correctly. So this into forward 4, if you do duck the hell sweep, you're gonna of course get like this, right? Imagine you're ducking a hell sweep, 54 damage, into a wall combo, into, I don't know, it's gonna be like 80 damage. So it's very strong. Because one, if you do sidestep, a hell sweep into a hell sweep will track you. As I already talked about, hell sweep is tracking. Heihachi's hell sweep anyway, not Kazuya's. I wish Kazuya's was tracking. Everyone's complaining about that. But yeah, you can't really step this. And even if you try to step it, forward 4 will sometimes catch you depending on the angle. Like this kind of angle, it still catches you. You see that? But you can't step it. It is possible. If they really like doing this, one of the options we have is to step it. But as I said, it's scary because of like 3 or 4 other options I listed after hell sweep. Because after this, they can still do this at the wall. Right? This into 4-2-3, this will also wall splat you into 1,000,000 damage. So, stepping is very risky. Very, very risky. So you're kind of forced at the wall again to just hold back. And I think the general game plan against Heihachi is exactly that. Do not duck under any circumstances until you're outside of the wall. You have to make the Heihachi player doubt himself enough to throw out a move that's a little bit minus, so you have enough frames to sidestep outside of the wall. So if they throw out something like this and you block it, right? That's like one of the things that will make you sidestep outside of the wall. Or something like forward 3, that's -2. Those are one of the things that you have to look out for on block, that you don't really challenge as much as you just get out of the wall. Of course you can challenge it, and I'll talk about those 2 moves later, like this and this, because they're basically the same on block. But usually you just want to get out of the wall, because it's so damn hard to get out of the wall. You just have to know when. After forward 4, you do not, definitely do not. 1-1 will track you. And after some moves, like down forward 1 on hit, or down forward 1 on block, because you're just standing there because there's the 1-2 coming, you don't want to step that. 2 will hit you, wall splat you, you know. You can outstep forward 4 and forward 4. Oh, you mean this right here? You have to walk it. If I step it, this tracks. See that? Gotta walk it. But in general, as I said, it's not worth it. Because forward 4, 1-1 exists, stepping and walking is not worth it at forward 4. Maybe in the neutral, it's less scary, but not worth it. So, the general game plan I was talking about is to stay there, make the Heihachi do health sweeps a lot, if they do like doing it. Of course, if they use other lows, you can get out easier or punish them. But if they do health sweeps a lot, you just have to stand there and make the Heihachi player doubt themselves enough to try mids that make you step outside of the wall. Like, it's very scary, I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes you are forced to duck, especially if they really spam this. And sometimes you have to duck in a way to get up for a forward 4, for example. The moment you see a slightest animation of, oh, forward 4 is coming, you have to get up. But this is why, for example, I think Heihachi is much stronger on PlayStation, because this is harder to do on PlayStation and easier to do on PC. Like if I do hell sweep into hell sweep, or do hell sweep into forward 4, right? It's a little bit easier to like see the forward 4 coming and get up on a PC, which of course is harder, right? It's hard, and even on PC it's hard, but it's doable. You can keep ducking and see it coming sometimes. As I said, even on PC it's hard, but it's doable. That's what's important. That's what makes Heihachi a little bit better on PlayStation. Well, maybe not a little bit, quite better on PlayStation than on PC. But of course Heihachi has issues on PlayStation as well, because you know he has to electric. But other than that, everything else is an advantage. How often do I need a new pad? I generally change my D-pad's rubber once every, or twice a year, something like that, or once a year. Okay. So Heihachi, PlayStation, scary. PC, less scary, but still scary. Okay. What else? What else to talk about? I talked about forward 4. I mean, in the neutral, they have a lot of mids to rely upon, like back 4 if you want to step. Or forward 2, of course. Oh, forward 2, yeah. This move. Some Heihachi players... Also, this is also a thing in the PlayStation. This into forward 2. So usually, you try to duck a health sweep, right? Backdash duck another health sweep. You can get up on the forward 2, right? On the PlayStation, oh, too bad, you get launched. This is one of the things you have to really look out for. Because the backdash fuzzy duck, like this one, is very hard to do. And you just get hit. So you have to be very careful when it comes to that. Like Heihachi's mids are much stronger, because fuzzy ducking is nerfed in general on PlayStation. But of course, if you do block it, you get a forward 2 punish, but be careful about this as well. If you do mess up, some Heihachi players might duck it. Okay. Yeah, forward 2 sometimes can be electric, but still, it's not worth it. Not worth the risk, basically. And this forward 2 sometimes has very weird tracking. Like, you can step it, right? Of course. But look at that. You guys saw that? Look at the tracking it has. See that? It's a thing. It's a very real thing. So be very careful when it comes to stepping it outside of walking it. Walking more reliable than stepping because it has slight tracking. I think it took both sides. Be very careful when it comes to this move. And yeah, forward 2 is a very good punish for gods, but be careful if you do mistime it. They might just duck and launch you forward, right? Be careful about that. Forward 2 is bonkers, it is. It's a very good move. Okay, what else to talk about? Oh, the -2s, yeah, I forgot. This, and this. The -2 situation against Heihachi in general. Like, these 3 moves are the most common ones that the Heihachi enforced the -2 mind game. Like, Heihachi has this very unique mind game, which is called the -2 mind game, which is done after forward 3, forward 2, 3 on block, and 1 back 1, 2 on block. So what is the mind game here? The mind game usually comes with jabs. So 1-1. The most common one. So 3 to 1-1, right? Something like this. Which also tracks to the left. You guys see that? They don't need a 4-4 to enforce a 1-1 tracking in mind game. The -2 situation is still enough to track it. Unless you do a pure step, like this. If you do a sidewalk, magic tracking. If you do a side step, you can't do it. But the second one will still track you. See that? So be very careful when it comes to that, especially at the wall. When it's an angle like this, for example, I don't think a side step will work either. Like some angles it will still flip you, but most of the time side step left works. I don't know if I'll be able to recreate the weird angle, but most of the time side step left does work. But be sure not to sidewalk. If you sidewalk, it might still catch you. And it's the same with this into 1-1. See that? More reliable. But this is very common. Very, very common. Same with down forward 1. You can sidestep that as well. Never mind. Why did I remember you could sidestep this? Down forward 1 tracks? I think I tried this out with not Kazuya. When I labbed this last time, I tried it out with a female character, if I remember correctly. So I think that's why I remember this. But this actually tracks. Wow. Kazuya sucks, man. I start playing Zafina again. Yeah, down forward 1 actually has tracking in this direction. Let's see at the wall as well. So not only 1-1 has slight tracking, down forward 1 just catches you. Oh my lord. Unreliable, basically. At the wall I stepped it a couple of times, but it's unreliable. Like, I would not bet on it. But sometimes sidestep left is a good option, especially when you want to get out of the wall. Sometimes you just gotta bet on it. But if this tracks you, it just does. It's magic 4. The thing is, the mind game of forward 3 and -2, I talked about jab, right? Jab, down forward 1. Forward 2 is also one of them, which if you want to step and not block fast enough, this will also catch you, because this is the tracking move. Like, this does not have the sparks of a tracking move, but it is a tracking move. So be careful around that as well. And the last one is a parry, which you want to check with a jab, or anything like that. Another one. These are the button mind games, so basically this into parry. You try to jab, get parried. Any kind of jab check will get parried, unless it's too slow, like this, right? But even a 13 frame down forward 1 will get parried there. So another part of the mind game. But then comes the scary part, when it comes to Heihachi players just moving around you. So forward 3 movement, scary. Why? Because usually you do want to press something to get out of the situation, right? Or at least step, or something like that. So what good Heihachi players will do is either sidestep with you. You try to sidestep left, they'll sidestep left with you, enforce the jab pressure, down forward 1 pressure, you know. Forward 4, hell sweep, all that good stuff. So, or a backdash if I try to press something like a magic 4, just like MN said, right? Forward 3 into backdash. Especially if it's Kazuya's. Kazuya's magic 4 sucks, this won't reach. Garbage. Sometimes it's usable, especially if they like to jab after it. Because if they do jab, like this actually trays into a combo, right? It's not that bad. You have an 11 frame magic 4, it won't even trade, you just get a combo. So it's not that bad to use, but it becomes scarier when the Heihachi player actually plays the mind game correctly, with them doing nothing but stepping, backdashing, and then whiff punishing. Because Heihachi's whiff punishment is insane. Down forward 1-2 is an amazing whiff punisher. Insane whiff punisher. Like, look at the range on this. Look at this. Insane whiff punishing. And of course the wall splat too. With this into 1+2, 63 damage. So if you do want to press something, be careful about that too. 4-3 mind game is very strong, and this applies to all three of the moves I mentioned. 4-3, 4-2-3 on block, and 1 backbone 2 on block. Oh, I almost forgot to mention. 4-3-1 back 2 also one of the options. You can step the jab, but this will track you. I forgot to mention that. It's very important to know. The jab sometimes tracks you as well. Very weird, don't ask. But if you don't sidewalk like this, it still will track you. If you do sidewalk like this, it still will track you. That move is tracking. You see that? Either side. It's a dumb move, don't ask me. Heihachi is a hard character, guys. So this basically makes it safe, more or less safe, for Heihachi to do a jab check. And it's only minus 2, so you can just spam it like this, right? Very good. Oh, high crushing, yes. High crushing is an amazing option. Like a panic tool if you have one. In those kind of situations, right? It's pretty useful. As long as it's fast high crushing, right? But since we're talking about Gods really doesn't have that. If I do down back 3, I'll get hit by down forward 1, hit confirm 2, million damage. If I do a down 1 plus 2, same thing, I can get hit by that. They're slow, basically. My high crushing just doesn't exist. Maybe a dick jab or down 4 is a decent option to do. But as I said, if they start doing this into sidestep, it becomes much scarier. Down 4 may be a little bit better, because it won't always be stepped. It has decent tracking. But dick jab will always be stepped if you do a dick jab. And if the Heihachi player is good enough, they're gonna sidestep and down forward 1, 2 while planting a million damage, right? Scary shit. Ah, messed up. Okay. What else? Only thing I can think of is the rage drive situation, but I want to save that for last. Oh, the full crouch. I almost forgot. Full crouch. So this mix up right here. So this, usually, you can sometimes see this move. A lot of people just complain about it when people do it online, saying it's seeable. And in a way they are right, but in a way also they're not. Because this is 19 frames. 19 frames fast. Normally 19 frame moves are not seeable, but what makes this seeable is its unique animation and its full crouch startup. Those two things. But sometimes you just can't see it. Just can't. And it happens. You get hit by it, 4-4-2 is guaranteed. Stuff like that. So be careful when it comes to that and be ready for a full crouch mix when a Heihachi player is like this. But they might mix it up with this right here. You duck it and you get wall splat at the wall. And some Heihachi players like me, I like doing this. I do a crouch cancel forward 4 to mix it up. I love doing that. I just let go of down and just forward 4. I love that. It's so good to do. So be wary of these two things. If you can react to this, good, but it's hard to react to, especially on the PlayStation. If you're on PlayStation, good luck reacting to this. Good luck. Most likely gonna get mixed by this. Most likely. Or maybe even this, right? Be very careful. Okay. What else? Oh, in the neutral, when this hits you, one of the best things you can do is side roll to that direction. What direction is that side? Right. Side roll right. That's one of the best things you can do. Because if the Heihachi player delays this, even a little bit, you are able to side roll this direction. But if you side roll the other direction, it hits you. Remember that. Side roll to the right. And pray the Heihachi player fucks it up. Because if they do fuck it up, it will whiff. And then you stand up. But some Heihachi players like doing this. You do wave-a-wave-oo, and then forward 4-2. Now why do they do this? I'll tell you exactly why they do it. So wave-oo, forward 4-2. Right? If you do this into get up with back, it will actually launch you. Just like that. So what's important to do? I don't know if I can recreate with the AI, but I'll show you what to do. Not show you, I'll tell you what to do. When you side roll to the right, it's very, very simple. It's not hard to do at all. If you know what to do, it's not very hard to do. When you side roll to the right, I just have to make it whiff. Wait, did it too fast. There we go. Hold down. That's what you do. When you're side rolling, hold it down and don't let go. That way you won't get up automatically and you will stay down. That is what you do to avoid that little setup that they are doing when they wave a forward forward 2 to catch a side roll into automatic get up. Do not automatically get up. You just don't do it. If the forward forward 2 whiffs, you see it whiffing, just get up. Like you see this whiff, get up. Stop holding down, just get up. If you see them wave dashing, just stay down. You don't want to get up. Eat the guaranteed forward forward 2, it's fine. It's okay. It's okay, it's fine. Better than getting launched. That's what you do. Pretty simple. Okay. Or maybe hold up. If you hold up, that can work as well in some situations. Just first hold down so you don't automatically get up and then hold up. Instead of holding back. Okay. What else? I think rage drive situation is the only thing left, right? I mean, there are a lot of setups for Heihachi players as well. One of my favorite ones, which not a lot of people use, I'm gonna be honest, which beats the side roll actually. Very funny, but no one uses this. I don't want to give Heihachi players ideas, I'm gonna be honest, but fuck it. So this, into this right here. This is my favorite setup of Heihachi. I don't play Heihachi enough to use this, I'm gonna be honest, but it's my favorite one. This actually beats a side roll. And this combos you. If you side roll into automatic get up, it will still beat it. If they do this correctly. Or you're gonna be back turned to a guaranteed forward forward 2. This is my favorite setup. So instead of Heihachi players doing a wave of forward forward 2, if they know about this, they can't do that. So be careful about that too. The one setup. It's a very cool setup. I'm gonna be honest. It's kind of bullshit as well, but it's very cool. Fuck. I guess now let's talk about the rage drive, right? So when it comes to the rage drive, the one thing you do not want to do, the one thing, is to mash in -2 situations your 13 frame check. A lot of people have this automatically. When they see minus frames, they do a mid check that's 13 frames fast. Like after forward 3, for example. And they have that automatically. That's the one thing you do not want to do when Heihachi has rage. So I'll show you an example, right? Forward 3 into rage drive. I tried to do down forward 4. Wow. Doesn't work. You don't have the frames for it. And of course, Heihachi player gets million damage from this, right? That's like 80 something damage that I dropped the combo. Well, I'm good. Hello, bro. That's the one thing you do not want to do. If you have a 12 frame mid, it can work. It will trade with a jab, you won't get comboed. But be careful when it comes to mashing that. So either mash your own jab, a 12 frame move or an 11 frame move, or something that high crushes. Down 4, down back 3, as long as they high crush fast enough. Because you do not want to get hit by this. No, under no circumstances. Like, you see this damage? That's not okay damage. You don't want to get hit by this. So be careful when it comes to this, and this situations on block. Be very careful. And of course the Heihachi player will know about this as well. If you respect it too much, surprise, surprise, health chips are coming. Surprise, they just spam this. And you're scared for your life. You're just scared for your life. You just don't know what to do anymore. They can do this into instant rage drive. They can do this into forward 4. They can do this into forward 2, 3. All the things I mentioned, but with rage it's like 100 times scarier. So be very careful. This character is very strong. Heihachi is pretty good. One thing he needs is for you to practice his electrics, right? You have to practice his electrics, his electric punishment, stuff like that. But other than that, he's not that hard of a character. Because his game plan is simple. He lacks lows, that is correct. And he takes risks doing lows, but he's very oppressive. Very, very oppressive. Like, him doing this takes a lot of risk. But it also makes the opponent duck, which is what Heihachi players want. Forward 4, they duck down forward 1, 2. They can do a rage drive and rage and basically kill you. You're dead. That's it, you're dead. Doesn't matter how much HP you have, you're dead. So be very careful when it comes to that. So 12 frame moves, 11 frame moves, faster than those. They're your friends basically. But since I mentioned movement options for Heihachi, like forward 3 into movement, right? Be careful about mashing too much as well, because they can do this backdash electric, right? Something like that. So yeah, mind games are strong. Heihachi is a strong character. Did anyone spend? Yeah, they did. This is the speed lamp. What else to talk about? I guess Hunting Hawk, I can talk about that. Not a lot of Heihachi players use it that much. Right? This is +3. I think this used to be +1, but they buffed it. I don't remember when they buffed it. So after this, you also have to be careful because they can range drive after it. Have to be very careful. So they can jab, down forward 1, down forward 2, all those options I listed. They can literally do any of those options after any kind of minus frame they have. Anything, because they're that strong. A jab, down forward 2 and forward 2 are that strong. Very, very good. Okay. Oh, gotcha. I almost forgot about that. Not a lot of people know that. Yeah, this rage drive, if they whip it, this headbutt is a high. I don't see enough people ducking this. The rage situation when this is whiffed, this doesn't happen a lot. Good Heihachi players will not whiff this. It's pretty hard to whiff, you know. But if they do, for God's sake, duck the last one. Just duck it. It's a high. Launch it. If you don't duck it, imagine you don't duck it, right? This whiffs. You don't duck this. You're -9 for no reason. You could have gotten a free launch and killed him. Because he was in rage, of course you would have killed him. But instead you're -9. So yeah, duck it. But it only works on whiff though, it jails on a block. You can't duck on block. While standing 2, I talked about while standing 2 and the setups, the most common ones. Like down 4, while standing 2 and stuff like that. What else? Yeah, QCF2, I guess I can talk about this. Some Heihachi players like throwing this out. But this is -17. For example, Kazuya can back 4 punish it all the time. Very consistently. Or forward 2, if you're fast enough. It's a little bit weird forward 2 because of timing. Back 4 is very consistent. Sometimes it becomes 18, like that. But more or less it's consistent. Forward 2, more consistent. Parry setup, I talked about parry setups. Like forward 3 to parry and all those -2 into parries, those are all setups. Back 1, 2, parry, all that, those are setups. Down forward 1, 1 parry. Any kind of minus frame into parry, that's a setup. Talk about that. Headbutt Carnival, that's a special throw. I think that's it. I think that's mostly it. Unblockable. Oh yeah, wait, let me talk about these 2 as well. So down back 2 and fake unblockable. So 1, down back 2. I did talk about this, you do want to react to it mostly. But you can't do it always, so if you get hit by it, one of the best things to do is a backdash into a duck. Because if they do this to while standing forward, do a backdash, you'll block it, right? You'll block this. But if they do this into this, which is very common for Heihachi players, you'll not only block this, but also block that. Right? So that's very good to do. Something like this. Backdash duck. Very good option. But be careful if you're playing on a bad connection or a PlayStation. If they do this into port forward 2, that might catch you, because you won't be able to react to the port forward 2 and get up in time and just get hit. Is this also common? This in port forward 2. You backdash duck and get hit by that, right? Surprise, surprise. But normally you can get up in time if you do react to that. But it's hard to do. Dash up button there. Oh yeah, the pushback setups are real in general. But that's for every character. If something pushes back, just be very careful when it comes to buttons. And I guess this... Wait, this right here. I don't know if a lot of people know. But this is not an unblockable. This is a fake unblockable. Blockable. I guess let's just talk about it a bit. A lot of people think it's unblockable and panic button. You can't actually press here fast enough most of the time. You can, it's possible. But with a reaction, very rare. And you're gonna get wall splatted. But yeah, you have to block it. You don't have to press, just block it. It's not unblockable. But yeah, I think that's it. I might have missed some things, as I always do, right? Most likely I did, but I think this is good enough, more or less. Yeah. YouTube, thank you for watching, guys. Till the next one.